you know how I love boomer protest songs. And they're multiplying in the direction of protesting ICE and federal immigration law enforcement. And so I bring you the Raging Grannies of Rhode Island. Yeah, you heard me right. The Raging Grannies of Rhode Island, and their offering. See if this becomes an earworm that you wish you never heard.
Group of women who sing for peace and justice. We are horrified and angry about what is happening to our neighbors and friends. We've got to fight back. So we're here in solidarity with all of you to do just that. And we're going to sing a song to you called Stop the Raids.
Stop the Raids. Got it. Goes a little something like this.
There's a madness going round now that ICE has come to town, grabbing folks right from their homes, leaving children all alone. Grannies now are hopping mad, losing freedoms that we had. Fascists doing your cruel raids are making us enraged. Listen, I swear unto you, and the cruel things that you do is well known. Now leave our friends alone. Hear us, I swear unto you, and we know what we're gonna do. We are free and unafraid, and we'll stop your racist raids. Yes, we are free and unafraid, and we'll stop your racist raids.
Yay! The talk sing at the end was nice. I thought Gertrude was a little pitchy in the beginning, so that probably correct that in rehearsal. For more on this, I'm sure he didn't expect to be asked about the Raging Grannies of Rhode Island, but that's what I like to do, surprise people. We're going to talk to Reverend Robert Sirico about this, as well as the Jimmy Lai sentencing, as I mentioned, before the news. Reverend Robert Sirico is the co-founder and president emeritus of the Acton Institute, where good intentions meet sound economics. Reverend Sirico, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. You're a dangerous man to swing out on me like that.
I know.
And so early in the morning.
I know. I understand. Well, I wanted to get. I didn't, want you to come up with a retort in song. I'm not asking for that. But this sort of sentimentality that we get, with these emotionally charged issues like law enforcement generally, specifically immigration law enforcement, to these otherwise nice little old ladies, I'm assuming, giving them the benefit of the doubt. Yes, I exactly. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt just to be generous. But I mean, what's the Christian Catholic response to this sort of sentimentality that is ubiquitous?
Well, toward the sentimentality, it calls for maturity, an honest reflection on the truth of the situation. And, I understand the emotion. We want to be helpful to people, especially as a Christian, welcoming the stranger. But we do that in a certain way. And the Catechism is pretty clear that the very notion of a nation is to have boundaries. And I think we have to have a much more mature discussion of these important issues because obviously there's a crisis in the United States in this regard. And I don't think there's a healthy and mature discussion going on. And then, to be honest, on both sides. I think there's been an overreaction in many ways. And let me put it better, a lack of precision about who needs to be removed from the country, or at least that's the impression that people have, that everybody's being, as they say in the song, taken up off the streets. I don't think that's happening, but to the extent that people are being stopped and interrogated who are American citizens, I think we need to bring some clarity to that. But the other side of this, we don't solve problems by being sentimentalists. about it. And these grannies don't seem to have enough to do. I mean, I'd be very happy to make some suggestions if they contact me.
When nobody plays canasta anymore. The
Right? Yeah, mahjong.
yeah, mahjong. But I mean, but you just hear it over and over again, and it generates eye rolls from people who are a little
Yeah,
bit,
yeah,
firmer,
sure.
the feet have their feet planted a little bit firmer. But there does need to be a response to the bastardization of Scripture, welcoming the stranger,
Yes,
the
yes,
and all the no person is illegal, and all of this blather that you hear
absolutely.
be put in a Christian context.
Yes, absolutely. And that's why I say it calls for reason and maturity, and I don't see people having reasonable and mature conversations about this. It's this kind of thing, this, I don't want to say any more about these ladies because I don't know them, so anything I say is
No, you
gonna,
don't have to. No, just more general. I'm not necessarily in the raging
yeah.
grannies. Yeah,
No, no, it's not you, it's me, wanting to say more than I should say. So,
okay. Restraint is something else that's not part of our
yes.
discussions either.
Lent is coming up.
Yes, right. That's a good point. All right, let's talk about Jimmy Lai, sentenced to another
Yeah.
20 years for quote unquote spreading seditious materials. He should have probably taken the approach of Cato's letters rather than putting his name on Apple Daily, as it turns out. But now he's looking at the rest of his life in a gulag in Hong Kong, and what do I mean, I just want to sort of give you the floor before I ask questions about it. What your reaction?
Sure. Well, but my first reaction is it was no surprise. I mean,
No.
and this 20-year sentence, which is, by the way, for convictions of this sort, is the most severe. Remember, there were 6 other defendants with him, and his is the most severe. And really, with a 78-year-old man, this is in fact a life sentence if this stands. So that's my first set of thoughts. Now, I've been in touch with the family, and they're really serene about this because they're infused with a certain religious moral sentiment about why Jimmy's doing this. I mean, let's just back up for a moment. He never had to do this. He could have left the country at any time. He had the money, he had the means, but he felt a call to stay his ground and defend what Hong Kong gave him. That's the way he put it. Gave him his freedom and allowed him to build a life, and that he wanted to give it back. And I think that is just so incredibly inspiring to have a person like that. He's the Solzhenitsyn, the Mandela of our day, the Sharansky of our day. So it's a very, very sad thing. I don't think the last shoe is dropped on this. There's a real possibility that when President Trump goes to China in April, that there'll be some discussions about this. I suspect that they're being very quiet in order to preserve the power of those negotiations.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you have to be difficult, because if you really want to try to get him sprung, then you can't,
Yeah.
you can't embarrass Xi and the regime,
Exactly.
because they'll just dig in.
Exactly. But another thing, and this is very speculative, but I mean, what happened, was it now 3 weeks ago, with the firing of the generals and whatever has become of them. I think we don't know a lot about the behind the scenes of that, but I think that is a very serious moment for the Chinese. I think that this has now reduced the Politburo to no military people who have military experience in warfare, and also now down to, I think, basically 2 people, which according to their laws, they have to have, I think it's 5. So I think something's going on in China, and I can't imagine that this hasn't escaped the administration's attention.
You mentioned Solzhenitsyn too, and I always go back, and I've made the same comparison you have with Jimmy Lai, and I always go back to something that Solzhenitsyn said in this great speech when he received the Templeton Freedom Prize back, 40 years ago, where he said, "If I could explain what happened in the Soviet Union in one sentence, it would be we forgot God."
Yeah.
And it seems to me that's applicable here. I mean, with the Chinese communists, it's the same. It's the same dynamic, and Jimmy Lai
It
is
is.
the same sort of dissident.
I think that is what has she and his associates nervous about Jimmy in particular, because he has something sustaining him that transcends what they can put their hands on. I happen to know the books that he's reading in prison right now. They're tomes of theology, and I can sense the inspiration and the moral correctness he's deriving from reading them. So I mean, he's reading Ratzinger, he's reading the Summa Theologicus and Augustine, a whole plethora. His daughter sent me the list of 2 years worth of orders on Amazon, and there were 133 books that he's gone through just in that period of time. So I
Glad
think,
that he's able to get those books in.
yeah, they let him in as long as they're new books, as long as they're not written in at all. He can read all he wants.
And it's because you're close with the family. I mean, tell us about his family and where they're at, and I know you said there's a sort of serenity that that just draped over them. But are they in country somewhere? Where are they? How are they doing? What is their what are they doing to try to not just to free him, but to extol
Raise
his
the awareness.
extol
Yeah.
his example the world over.
Yeah. Well, Teresa, his wife, of course, is in Hong Kong. She was at the sentencing, the verdict. And then his two other main children, he has one who's a bit younger, and he's kind of out of that public role. But Sebastian is a resident of Taiwan, but he's been traveling the world making the case to his father, more on the geopolitical realities of the situation. And then Claire is in between London and the United States. In fact, she was just in our offices in Grand Rapids last week. We were helping her kind of prepare for this, news, and to kind of fine tune her message on this. And she deals more with the spiritual and moral dimensions. I mean, there's so much of what Jimmy Lai is about that is tied up with a sense of spirituality that we think that's important for that message to go to the religious community, and for, in turn, the religious community to write letters, to post on social media and the like, for calling for his release from prison.
Does his wife have any reason to fear the regime if she's still in country, and particularly if the one of his sons is out, sort of spreading Jimmy Lai's gospel, if you will?
Well, I mean, that's been going on for 5 years now, and I think they made a very intentional, by this I mean the family. I don't know what the conversations may have been with the government, but Teresa's agreed not to be involved in any of the kind of public conversation about it. Her role is to maintain her access to her husband and provide him the kind of solace and encouragement he needs. And then the kids are out there doing other things. I should mention, by the way, one very moving and encouraging thing took place in October, when Pope Leo received Teresa Lai and Claire Lai in audience at St. Peter's. So that's the first time Pope has, since Jimmy's been in jail, has mentioned his name. And he's promised the family his prayers, and then who knows what goes on behind the scenes over there as well.
Has he spawned, to your knowledge, any Samizdat in communist China? Anybody trying to emulate what he did, it maybe anonymously?
Well, China is a very, as we've watched it over the years, it's very intriguing the way protests happen. It seems like they erupt all at once, like they just come out of nowhere. And so I think this is brewing. I've been in touch with people on the mainland recently. They've there was an announcement about Jimmy Lai, but no details. So I think there are certain people following it. I know that our movie that we produced, The Hong Konger, which people can watch on YouTube, The Hong Konger, which has had over about 6 million views now, that has been seen both in Hong Kong and in the mainland, of course, illegally. But that tells the whole story right there.
He is Reverend Robert Sirico, co-founder and president emeritus of the Acton Institute. Do check out that film he mentioned on YouTube at the Acton Institute page, The Hong Konger. Reverend Sirico, thank you as always. Appreciate your time.
Glad to be with you. God bless.
God bless. And he joined us on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter.